You're listening to the new amazing 102.5 FM. I'm Chris Johnson, and this is Now You Know, a relaunch, a new pop-up show, amazing pop-up show, if you will, a monthly conversation, thanks to NAMI Greater Houston. That's the local chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness on Mental Health, and we're launching it this month in honor of National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And we've been dancing around the topic of stigma. We've been dancing around the topic of many of the barriers that people in the Black community face to mental health care. And then there's also the issue of information, which you were just saying. You know, I was looking around for all sorts of information so that I could kind of, educate myself about this topic. And as you say, while we were listening to the music just now, there's not much out there.
There's not much out there at all.
Because why?
Yeah. Well, because it's a population that a lot of people are not focused on. That's the concern. There are very few studies to explain or support the fact of suicidality in the Black population. Very few out there. You can Google, you could find this, but very few statistics. I'm excited to say that the Harris Center has partnered with the University of Houston to really look at the suicidality rates amongst teens and adolescents. So we have partnered with them. We're going to start this study hopefully in the fall, where they're going to interview teens and adolescents within the agency and outside of the agency to understand why do they think about suicide, what prompted them to even attempt suicide in the past. But we need more data out there to really support this fact that it's happening right here in our backyard. It's happening right here. But the studies that you will research and you would find out about has nothing to do with the Black population.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
And Pastor Deckard, you got right down to the heart of the matter as well. What'd you say about not trusting not just the mental health system, but any system?
Not trusting the system. And on top of not trusting the system, the average African-American kid in the hood today lives with this reality. Who's going to get me first? Them or me? Are the police going to kill me? Is my neighbor going to kill me? Or do I go ahead and kill myself? That's a reality that no kid should have to live under.
And that's like the background that's going on in a person's life.
Yes.
At the same time where they don't have a conversation happening about mental health, they have a lack of resources about mental health. So then I guess I'm left with the question of where do you even start?
Well, I can tell you where we are starting. Yeah. If you look at where the dollars are flowing through our Texas state legislature, billions of dollars are being pumped into the school to provide individual counseling and therapeutic services for children. But I want to tell you, NAMI has known this for a long time. You cannot help the person who is struggling with a mental health condition without supporting the entire family.
Absolutely.
It does not happen in a vacuum. When one person is impacted, everybody in that house is impacted. And so our mission is to go out and really strengthen the education and support for the entire family. But there's two things that I want to leave you with. And one is NAMI supports the biopsychosocial approach. There's not one way to address this matter. Yes, you need an accurate diagnosis. You need to know what treatment and therapies are available to you. You can't get that to the Black community until you first convince the community that people care. People do care. There are advocates in every system. What you need is an in-between person, such as a community-based organization, to say, yes, you can trust this group. Yes, you can trust the Harris Center if you're uninsured or underinsured. You can go and receive services. There are people looking for you. I used to tell people when I first started speaking about mental health, it takes 14 agencies for me to get up and get dressed every morning.
Oh, wow.
I have 3 children diagnosed. They have different diagnoses. Later on, my husband, he was dealing with PTSD. I don't know. I kind of felt like Marilyn in the Munster show. Herman Munster in there. But I tell you, it took a lot of different agencies, and I kept looking. But I think I'm an anomaly. I was taught early to kind of reach out and use my brain and education to overcome barriers and hurdles. But today, a lot of our families are just suffering under the pressure and collapsing.
I call it screaming in silence.
They're screaming in quiet desperation, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes in crowds, but screaming in silence.
Yeah.
So you want to show them that people care, that there's this biopsychosocial approach, and they can, with the right supports and the right agencies and systems, but they have to be led. And who's going to lead them, right? And so our goal is just to try to make those connections between the community. So we're partnered with people like you at Greenhouse International, Pastor Deckard, and we're partnered with the Harris Center, and we'll partner with the community at large.
Right.
if we can find those who are willing to be a part of the solution.
Right.
So we have
And
a
you brought up-
responsibility to make
Yeah.
the Harris Center and NAMI household names.
Yes.
We have a responsibility to do that.
Absolutely.
Pastor Deckard, is there any way to make a difference in this topic, in this, in the mental health of the Black community without involving the church?
I don't think so in our community, to be honest. Again, civil rights movement, everything that progressed in our community started in the church. We got to get back to that.
I agree. You brought up the point about the school systems. So we have partnered with many districts across Houston, everyone from HISD to A-Leaf, Spring Branch, Pasadena, etc., because we felt that we needed to get out there. You don't have to come into the clinic. We'll go out there to serve you. I think that's helpful. We have a lot more to do. Along with the church, we also have to think outside of the box. There are some partnerships, even with barbershops these days, to partner with
heard
the
about
yes,
this.
yes. I recently read an article about that, and I was impressed because barbers will tell you that they are like that counselor to their clients
They
coming
are.
in. They hear
And the beauty shop.
everything. And the beauty shop. They hear everything. Yes, so there are some in this study, this research, there are some barbers who've partnered with mental health agencies to provide those resources to those clients and give them the support that, hey, this is okay for you to do. But we have to think outside the box when
You're
we're
right.
trying to really connect with our community.
You're right.
We absolutely have
And
to.
if you think you're not an expert, if you're sitting at home listening to this and you're thinking there's nothing I can do, but you want to do something, you need to call us.
Yeah.
We can put your hands and feet to work. We need people in the community to help build a bridge between those families that are not reaching out.
Yeah.
And because if you can finish this statement, what happens in this house,
Stays in this house.
okay, that is the bedrock of our community.
Absolutely.
So we need people very in close proximity to those houses,
Yeah.
helping build a bridge to the resources that we have.
So then, how do you keep the conversation going? I mean, if this is something, if this is a topic that people are inherently shy to talk about, then you add to it all the specific dynamics and issues in the Black community. Like, I mean, like, where do you even start?
By declaring no more BS. No more being silent.
I
No
like
more
that.
silence.
No more silence.
And you find those pastors like
Yeah.
Pastor Deckard who are willing to open up that 11 o'clock service and let us talk about it.
I agree. And we have to keep doing things like this as well. We have to keep getting the word out this way, through radio, through social media, the right way. Because you brought up that point about social media earlier, and that has been detrimental to our population.
But we can use
has.
it.
We can use
Yeah,
it in a
the
way
strap.
like
We
this.
must
Absolutely.
control the narrative.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
We must
Don't
make
let the
sure
others
the
control
narrative
it.
is that this is positive. You are not crazy because you're going through a mental
Yes,
situation.
yes.
You need help, get help.
Right.
Just like when you said what goes on in this house stays in this house, that has crippled the Black community. Another thing that's crippled the Black community is no snitching, which means
Oh, I'm not telling on my friend.
Yeah.
So those two things have been detrimental to our community. So we got to reprogram our community. It is okay
Yeah.
to seek help. It's okay to get help. And then once you have recovered, use your story to
help
lift
someone
someone
else.
else up.
Absolutely. And we need some of those celebrities
Yeah.
and those athletes and those actors, because that's where our young people, young adults are looking. We need a lot more of them to step up and say, it's okay if you have mental illness. It's okay to seek services.
Yeah.
But we need all of that and a lot more.
So if people are seeking services, then what? Where do you go?
NAMI, Harris
You
Center.
come right here to the Harris Center.
And I mean, and I'm trying to prompt you because I think I bet you most any person listening right now is not going to know that there is actually a phone number that you could call.
Absolutely.
24 hours a day if you're
24
dealing with a mental
hours.
health crisis.
That
James
number,
Brown would say it loud and say it proud.
I'm going to do that right now. So the number to contact the Harris Center is 713-970-7000. Very easy. You can also access online. That's theharriscenter.org. Easy to get in. Also, beginning July 16th, there's going to be a 988 line, July 16th. And that line is for anyone who's contemplating suicide, who's thinking about suicide, 988. Really important 3 numbers to remember. In the meantime, they could also contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-TALK. TALK. I'm going to repeat that number, 1-800-273-TALK Talk.
Tiffany Williams Brooks, Director of Childhood and Adolescent Services at the Harris Center for Mental Health and IDD. Thank you so much for making the time today.
Absolutely. Thank
Pastor
you.
E.A. Deckard, Senior Pastor at Greenhouse International Church here in Houston, mental health advocate. Thank you, Pastor, for being with us today. And Angelina Hudson, Executive Director of NAMI Greater Houston, a mom, mental health advocate. Thank you so much as well. Thanks for being here, all of you.
And I encourage people, if you want free education, call us. If you want to take a class, seminar, you want us to speak at your church, call us.
And you can find all of the information you want about NAMI on our website, namigreaterhouston.org. As we go today, I want to say a huge thank you to Amanda Sapp, as well as Pastors Rudy and Juanita Rasmus for making this amazing pop-up show possible. Big shout out to Wink, our engineer today, for making us all sound better than we do in real life. Thank you, Wink. And I'm Chris Johnson, and as Angelina says, you can't be responsible for what you didn't know. So there you have it. Now you know. Thanks for listening today. NAMI Greater Houston will be back next month with another edition of this amazing pop-up show, and I hope you'll be there. Meanwhile, don't go anywhere. Keep it right here on the station that's all about doing good through good, the new amazing 102.5 FM.